Hello, folks, and welcome to Maine Storytime for May 25th, 2023. My name is Mike Reynolds. I'm a writer, former webmaster. I haven't done it in several years because it's web. Web is getting way too difficult for me. We have a much smarter woman that does it way better than I can. I can do web, but I just can't do it as good as she can. Right now I'm doing story time with you because it's easier for me to get information out in a accessible format like this. You can hear it, you don't have to read it. I don't type, thousands of words and articles and put links on my website, how you go from Facebook to Ability Maine and back. I probably should put more links here and work on that. So today we're going to be talking about a lot of things. And I'm going to do as much as I can for as long as I can. I got to be done by 5 o'clock my time because I've got medications to take. But I can definitely get things covered by then. So without further ado, it's been a very busy week with disability rights. We lost an incredible athlete this week, Rick Hoyt. If you're in New England, you know the story of the Hoyts. I believe there's a statue of Rick and his father. They were a team who used to run the marathon. His father used to push his Rick had cerebral palsy and would be pushed in a wheelchair the entire 26.2 miles. Rick and his father did over 200 marathons. Rick started in 1977 by wanting to help a friend who had recently become paralyzed, so they ran the first one, then they figured out how to do the marathon, and they qualified for the marathon in 81, ran it for a number of years. I know they stopped for his father's health, and his father passed away a couple of years ago. This is extremely troubling because there's also some, it's a weird time because they're going to start the first ever Hoyt benefit run, which is going to help teamhoyt.org. You can go to that website. It's amazing. It's all about their thing, although they haven't updated it yet. There was some question as to whether there was going to be there were a cancel or not. It was supposed to. It's going to happen tomorrow, the 27th of May. And that's in Hopkinton, Massachusetts. TeamHoyt.org has all the information. There is a race there. I'm not going. Obviously, I'm in Maine. And if you're anywhere near there, obviously it's been dominating the news. They were the Hoyts were loved, and they have a great nonprofit they've been working with. They've started and founded. Rick actually graduated from BU in 1993. Had I known that, actually it was funny because I would have started. I was looking at colleges. I would have started. What would have been his final year would have been my freshman year, and I would have totally have gone. Put BU at my top of my schools had I known that he went there, but I went to UMaine and I liked it, so I'm not going to go any further with that. But he went. Rick and his father won a million and one awards. They won the ESPYs from ESPN. Rick went on to develop some of the communication software that people are using to look for augmentative and assistive communication, or AAC communication. Rick did a lot of that with you after you graduated. So he lived a really incredibly full life. I believe it was respiratory issues that caused his passing. And it really does. It's heartbreaking. But again, he was a really incredible life. Secondly, I just read this really interesting story, and give me that ability maintenance of grassroots disability rights. We're trying to bring things that will help people with disability. The Senior Citizens League, which is seniorsleague.org, reports that they think that the COLA for next year is going to be about 3.1%. For so that SSI and SSDI benefits would go up by that probably next year. Again, that's not official status. That usually comes out in later in the year, usually in September, October, but that's what they're saying as a idea. They are excuse me, I need a drink of water. Doing the best I can. The Seniors League does a lot of advocacy for people with senior citizens, and they just released a 10-page report that really gives a scathing detail of how badly the safety net for seniors and people on Social Security is. In most instances, the most you can get for SSI right now is about $900, a little over $900. SSDI is totally different, it's a lot more. And that also can vary by state. The state can give you additional monies or supplemental monies as well. Some states do, some states don't. I think Maine sometimes gives you a $10 benefit. I don't get that anymore. I did at one point. I don't understand all of that. But they were saying, and a lot of the things they were talking about was that how since the year 2000, the things that people could buy in 2000 if they were on Social Security, and the spending power they have now, just because of the reduction in COLAs, is gone down by like 38%. And that's by looking at the top 25 things that people with seniors do. And there's some crossover, or quite a bit of crossover actually, if you think about it, since prescription medications are number 2 on their list, I believe, or number 1. And obviously, you know, if you're disabled, you kind of need prescriptions to survive on. At least that's my own lived history, so I can understand that perspective. And they were saying that, like, in order to have the equal buying power that we did in 2000, like, be able to buy the same that you could in 2000 with the same benefits that you had in 2000, you would have to add another about $550 more per month, or about $6,600 a year for every senior citizen or person with a disability or person who's on SSI to receive, to get to the same buying power that they had in 2000. I want SSDI, and I do a fair amount of work, and I do what I can to, you know, stay afloat. And I was on SSI beforehand, back I was not on it in 2000. It was a 6-year gap where I was just not on Social Security. during that period, it just so with this whole debt ceiling thing and the whole federal shutdown possible looming, um, and I'm the one that's going to refuse to get nervous about that because people have to realize that you're not going to cut off military wives whose husbands have been killed in wars from their pensions. So that's not a really politically savvy thing to do, regardless of who you are, and or if you're a retiree and you have a disability because you fought for a country, you probably should get paid too, and that's what would happen. As you don't default on those payments. That's kind of why I'm so trying not to worry about the debt ceiling, because I think at the end of the day, people will be reasonable and it will actually go through, because it's just not politically sensible to make your electorate upset, especially when people care about Social Security. It has a huge ripple effect. It's not only Social Security, it's all the veterans, all the people in the military. You don't want, mess with that. That's some of our most sacred people. And Veterans for Peace. I mean, stuff like that. There's great things that come out. Of that, and I refuse to watch much news right now because it's just all about debt ceiling, how horrible it is. It's not, there'll be some sort of compromise. Trying not to get too worried about things. Again, I thought I would just continue this because I thought it was really important, and I might have written too little or too much. I'm not really sure, but we can go on from there. So I don't think the debt ceiling is going to be a big issue because I think that cooler heads are going to prevail because, again, when you do a reading or listening to, the first things that are going to be impacted are going to be about 67 million people on various Social Security programs, and they don't want that to happen. So, because those people vote. So, again, that's probably all I'm going to say about debt ceiling. And hopefully they pay for it because, I'm waiting on a check myself this week. So, I know there's a new, Ileana is watching, and thank you if you were watching. I know they were watching at one point. So I appreciate if you are on still. So I've also been looking. There's some really incredible events going on this next week and a half, 2 weeks, that you might get involved with. I'm gonna try and put some of this stuff on our page as well. On June 3rd, this is really cool. There's gonna be a show opening in Acton, Maine, that features Enoch Glidden, who just gave the UMA commencement speech, and has been my friend for like 35 plus years, 36 years. So like he's amazing. And he has spina bifida. He helped create this trail, and let me give you some more information because I'm looking at it online. Give me 1 second. I'll have that right there. Speaker advocate. Okay. So the Three Rivers Land Trust at Goat Hill on Saturday, June 3rd, for the grand opening of their new accessible trail, and it's going to be at 1 o'clock. The address is Goat Hill Trail, 1205 H Road, Acton, Maine. Meeting will be joining Three Rivers Land Trust at the summit of Goat Hill to celebrate the official opening of the trail. Enoch helped them tremendously last fall with a trail assessment, including traveling to the top and joining the accessible picnic area. He gave valuable information and recommendations. While Enoch was able to climb the trail in a manual wheelchair, Goat Hill might be a challenging route for some visitors as it rises 151 feet in less than a mile. However, the trails can be compacted gravel surface, moderate grades will allow most folks to give a trail a try with their preferred equipment. Some details. Enoch's presentation will begin at 2. Take the time you need to ascend the trail. Is a 0.7 mile trail. Land Trust staff and board will be able at the parking and trailhead to welcome you and answer questions. Go to the trail at a minimum width of 5 feet. It's typical 5 to 7 feet wide. This is a gravel trail. It runs approximately 3,600 feet, 0.07 miles. From the trailhead to the height of the summit, rising 151 feet in elevation. That's about 8 stories. 8 stories. The surface is compacted, 3/4 inch crushed gravel with 2 small wooden bridges flush with the trail surface. At the summit, an accessible circular path about 100 feet in length connects to viewpoints and cable paths and gravel surfaces the same as a trail. Typical maximum running slope, the average slope is 3.5 degrees. Many slopes on the trail portion are 6 to 8%. The maximum slope is 10%. Maximum length of running slopes over 5% is 200 feet. Shorter intervals are provided for slopes greater than 5%, which sounds pretty reasonable. Typical maximum cross slope. The cross slopes on the trailway are no more than 5%. There are side slopes greater than 5% just up the trailway. Use caution to stay on the trailway. There are no obstacles over 1 inch in the trailway. Larger stunts are used to denote where the slide slopes are difficult or severe. There will be an accessible porta-potty at trailhead from the late spring through fall, but there are no such facilities at the summit. At the summit, there will be accessibly designed picnic tables. So that's I guess the big thing to be important there. The next event they had, and this is coming from Deliberates, Maine, because this is actually a really interesting thing, because I'm disabled and I'm self-employed, but I also am contracted to do this through Ability Maine, and I've been doing this for I've been doing this since 2009. So on June 7th, from 10 to 11:30, the Office of Aging and Disability Services has partnered with the Rhode Island Development and Disability Council to offer a free webinar on self-employment. Are you or someone you support interested in owning your own small business based on a skill, passion, or something you're good at? Self-employment can offer people with disabilities flexibility and opportunity to develop a business that is meaningful and works for them. Business ownership may offer increased status and visibility in communities and provide avenues to build long-lasting relationship and earn a competitive wage. The Rhode Island Development Disabilities Council launched a self-employment business incubator project in 2016, and to date, the RIDDC and its partners have supported more than 140 individuals to start little businesses. Join the webinar to learn how entrepreneurs in Rhode Island have used their talent, skills, resources, and connections to create their ideal job or small business venture. It's a free training. It's a Zoom training. It's going to be on Wednesday, June 7th, 2023 from 10 to 11:30 for people with disabilities, advocacy agency staff, bureau rehabilitation staff, special educators, and community. You can go to drme.org. They have a Zoom link to register, and all the information you need for the if you need any more accommodations for that event. Later on that day, there's going to be another webinar created, but this one's going to be called Creating Accessible Content, and it's the same day, June 7th, 2023. Well, accessibility, and I'm just going to read this from DRME because it does make a lot of sense. It makes things a lot easier for me to just do that. Well, accessibility is very important to be legally required in many situations. It's often less than considered when creating content, if it is considered at all. Accessibility is important for many reasons beyond legal requirements. By making your content fully accessible, your information becomes, you are sharing to reach more people and ensure critical information is not missed by readers. When content information is fully accessible, it's beneficial to people with impairments, learning disabilities, color blindness, and many others. This training walks participants through steps in creating accessible content in Word and PowerPoint. Many of these tools and techniques create other platforms and programs such as Google Docs. The areas just in training include the following: utilizing tools to create easy document navigation, creating accessible lists and tables, all text and tags for images and visual presentations being presented by Jesse Wright, who is the director of Maine site, CICE, and this is the link to register on the DRME website. And if you need any information, you can email info@mainecice.org or call in 207-621-3195, or you can use Maine Relay 711. I think that may be for people who are deaf. On Maine site webinar. If you cannot, okay, so all this is important. On Maine site webinars are recorded and archived, so you cannot attend the live session. Just make sure you register so you can get a link to the archive. And there also seems, this is also a really cool festival that seems to be happening in Bangor on June 10th at 10 a.m. There'll be, it's the Co-Park Barn Running Festival. There'll be performances by local musicians, artwork from local artists, horse and buggy rides, which want to keep you entertained while continuing with a wide host of other resources. Interested in volunteering for the festival, gathering with other volunteers on June 10th at noon time at Together Plaza, 2nd Street in Bangor, Maine. It says May 10th, but that's already gone by. This event is organized by Food and Medicine, It's the Together Place Peer Run Recovery Center in the Wabanaki Public Health and Wellness. There's a flyer, and for questions to learn more about the event, contact Tanner Haynes at Tanner at, that's TANNER at Food and Medicine, FOODandMedicine.org. And that will be a good resource. There is a downloaded flyer you can download at that point too. And we're looking at 434, so we're going to do a little bit of disability history. A little bit. And so we're going to go through some of the stuff about disability history and radical disability rights and stuff. And on May 2nd, 1937, as anybody who's watched Quick Camp has known, the HEW occupation ends. That would be the occupation that was led by G. Human. And so the longest occupation of a federal building ends in 1977 as Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act is promised by members of the current administration to be given compliance of the federal legislation which protects people with disabilities from discrimination, and all programs receiving federal money will be precursor to the ADA, both legally and culturally. Judy Human would be the head of that, and she would be basically memorialized in group camp and her post-group camp work. Unfortunately, she did pass away. Fortunately, I think before she did the group camp stuff, I actually sat next to her at the White House event once, and that was pretty amazing. So it's pretty cool that the largest disability history federal occupation was done by disabled activists. That just always blew my mind. On May 5th, 1937, Anne Kemp was born in New York. She would finish college and pass the bar, but would be unable to find a job after graduating from the Virginia Law School, despite the fact that he graduated top 10% because of his disability. After reduction, letters from 39 law firms, he went to work for the government. He worked in the IRS, the SEC, as well as heading the Disability Rights Center, which is the early version of a Ralph Nader nonprofit. And Nader told me back in 2002, during the same interview I met my best friend Hillary at, that he, I think, started basically just gave them office space in Marriott. It was accessible and it worked out. I'm not really sure, but I think that's what he told me. It wasn't much, but it was enough to be active. And then he, Evan Kemp, returned to the government where he would work with the EEOC, which would lay the foundation for the passage of the ADA in 1990. He would leave the government job in 1993, and he would focus on hanging on. He actually worked on a medical supply company and lived with Janine Bertram. Janine Bertram is with the George Jackson Brigade. The George Jackson Brigade is known as one of the earliest queer liberation and radical activists in the 60s. They were they were the activist friends of the Weatherman, and the Panthers. And Janine's still alive and is a respected disability rights and prison reform activist. Evan died in August of 1997. I got to meet him once at an event at the Supreme Court in January of 97. I might have met him before that, but don't think I did. So I don't think I spent much time in D.C. before that. And Janine's has been the mother of DAD, mother of disability rights people, and has worked with so many people and so long that that's really important. On May 20th, 1935, quad rugby player and murder ball star Mark Zupan was born. Mark Zupan was born in the state in Cleveland, Ohio, and he would become an accomplished soccer football player and would earn a scholarship to Florida Atlantic University on October 14th, 1983. He won a soccer game and went drinking with his team at a local sports bar. He would drunkenly stumble into the back of his friend's trunk, and when his friend Christopher Igo was pulled over for drunk driving, he was flung into a small pond where he would cling to life for 14 hours. He suffered a spinal cord injury. After rehabilitation for the injury, he was transferred to Georgia Tech and started practicing with the local quad rugby team. After a few years, he was going on a tryout with the 2004 Paralympic team, with a major focus in 2005 film documentary Murderball. He since published a memoir and was on the 2008 quad rugby team competing in Beijing. I'm not sure if he's still on playing quad rugby, but he is still. I know Christopher Igo is now a real estate agent in Florida, so I know they're still around, and I know Zupan's still doing things. And 22 years ago, we had Eric Wyandmere, who summited Mount Everest on May 25th, 2001. Eric Wyandmere became the only blind man in history to summit Mount Everest. He's been blind since age 13, also been one of only 100 people in the world to hike the 7 summits, the highest mountains on each of the continents. He has been featured in a number of movies, including Fathers in the Eye Can See, a movie about his trek up Everest that toured the independent film circus, and won first prize at 19 festivals, and was nominated for 2 Emmy Awards. Wyandmere has also published 2 books and been published in Time, Forbes, Reader's Digest. And with that, it's I'm gonna call it a day. I hope you have a great Memorial Day weekend. And if you're watching this over the weekend, I hope this helped you a lot. Hope you learned something from it. Hope you got some information or some things. I believe the Disability Rights Maine Pride Festival is going to be on July 18th for Pride Month, and next month will be Gay Pride Month, and I think it'd be cool to focus on queer and disabled people, activists and activities, and being queer myself, it kind of makes sense. So we might do some of that. It's always kind of hard because my body is always in such a weird flux of being in either excellent health or weird health or somewhat weird health or whatever. So, but I've done really well today, so I was kind of lucky with that. And hopefully you enjoyed this story time, and I will see you hopefully soon, and have a great weekend. long weekend. Bye.